Hi, everybody. Srivathsan here. This is a follow-up session to what we discussed on Saturday, and we will get into a short case study. The case study is about a company in the building materials segment, and they were toiling with the question of should they be investing more on digital or traditional and whatnot. So let's get into the case study. Number one, is that the right question? When somebody is going to ask a question, should they be investing money in digital medium or traditional medium, or what should they be doing about marketing? Now, the fundamental question the founders and the senior executives should ask is whether what is the problem that they have got? Have they defined the problem right? Some of the companies will have brand awareness as a problem. Some of the companies will have leads as a problem. Some of the companies will have engagement, user engagement, or reputation management as a problem if they are going through a crisis cycle or something like that. So you need to know what is the problem statement. And as an advisor, and when I was dealing with such a company, we looked at what was the as-is condition. The company as such had actually been one of the top brands in the category. In fact, it was the category definer. When I say category definer, it is like Xerox. We don't call it as photocopying, but instead we call it as I need a Xerox. So they were category definers. They were company name. And you will also say, please do a Google. Google is like a searching, but you use company as a verb. So they were category definers. Now with the category definers, they had very high top of the mind awareness. They were distributor driven. So the material is manufactured and it reaches all over India through their distributors, and that's how they were able to manage. But the catch was this: over a period of time, when they were known as a B2C, premium B2C brand, over a period of time, that lead flow had started coming down. No longer. And looking at this category defining product, other competitors have also come up with similar products, or other foreign companies have started coming in. So the lead flow was coming down. So it was primarily driven by the distributors and the field sales force. Imagine, for a country like India, if you need to have, if you need to cover every possible pin code, you need to have a large field force. The company did not have that kind of a luxury. So how do they go about doing it? How do they actually manage B2B portfolio with B2C portfolio? How can they get architects to spec their products? They had decent budgets, but was it going to be enough? Now, how do we go about with this problem? First, we need to assess where do we stand? What is the objective and where do we stand and where do we want to go there, and what are the possible leakages or hindrances that we will have in our path? So that's what we will discuss. And if you look at the team, how they actually redesigned the marketing function, they aligned the marketing team with the business, which is basically like business aligned marketing team. Of course, they were separate marketing teams. They had separate teams. They had their own budgets. They had different leaders. But to avoid, they said marketing is going to be measured based on how the business does. There is no two ways about it. So simple terms, they define, they need have new customers, so many new customers, and the total revenue is going to be like this. Now, how do you take it from here? How do you translate this business goal into KRAs and KPIs for the marketing team so that the end objective, the problem statement, can be met? So moving on, the founder or the CEO or anybody, net, I'm showing you the end state of how the review happens. When the discussion with the marketing team happens, the dashboard should be in your mind saying that, okay, what is to the left-hand side, you will notice what is the marketing funnel? 1 million. This is what I have mentioned here. How much of the 1 million, how much of it is actually a percentage of the business goal? And is it a quarterly commitment that they have done, or a monthly target that they have achieved? What percentage of the marketing budgets have been spent? Let's say that you have given them 100 rupees and they have spent all 100 rupees in the first quarter itself. How are they actually going to manage? That's a question. So you need to monitor how much money is being spent and is it in alignment with the business goals. To the right hand side, you will notice all possible other parameters. It could be in terms of average leads that you're getting for the item, for the region, or for the business segment. It could be anything. How many leads are you actually getting? Social media performance. Everybody will come and then tell you, saying that, okay, you know what, I will give you Instagram, I will give you Facebook, I will get you 200,000 followers or 5 lakh followers for your Twitter page or LinkedIn page, whatever. You would need to fundamentally ask a question without falling into a trap, saying that, okay, I'm going to have so many followers, but is it going to translate and help me in my business goals? Please keep asking the same question. Whatever we do, even if somebody is going to say, you know what, take a tissue and then give something to somebody, they will say, okay, is it going to meet the business goal? Please ask that question. Otherwise, you will be sold thousands of rupees worth of media inventory for likes. It doesn't translate into business. Digital and content performance. So the you have written a blog or a white paper or a video or an Insta post, Insta reel, or whatever that you actually do. Is it actually being useful to the customer, and is there any engagement in that factor, and how is it translating into business? How is it translating into leads? So if you get the drift, whatever you do, finally, I'm taking you to one thing. The KRA and the KPI of the marketing team should be aligned with your overall business goals. Now, once again, as I told before, some companies will have a larger brand component into this. Yeah, they might be very new to the market. So they will say, you know what, I want my brand to be very high on top of the mind of people. So please do include it. It again goes back to what your business definition and problems are. I'm just telling you what happens with this case study. I'm moving on to the marketing structure and the KRA. The typical the pyramid structure will come into picture. You will have the CEO, the chief marketing officer, and rest of the marketing arms will also be out there. So the first and primary thing that you will notice is the demand generation team. Demand generation is nothing but your lead generation team, or you can call it business marketing team, whatever that works in your company. Now, if you look at this first point where we are talking about KRA, the demand generation's KRA can be simply defined as, it's a very tough KRA, contribute 10% to the sales funnel and 5% to direct billing. Now, the minute you take it to any marketing head, the minute you take it to any marketing team, they will immediately get alarmed. The reason is it is tough. They are going to ask you a question saying that, are they sales guys? There is a separate function called sales. Why should I actually be doing it? If you if you have if marketing has got the skin in the game, then amazing brilliant things can happen, and that's the reason why you need to have the key responsibility areas. Of course, you can add into that they are the brand custodians. Overall marketing team is the brand custodian. They need to ensure that the reputation is intact, the customer experience is managed. So you can add many pillars to it, but I'm just focusing on a few aspects. The key performance indicator. If you look at key performance indicator, how many so let's say somebody is going to come to their appraisal and then they're going to give you a thing. You're going back to the dashboard. In the dashboard, you're going to look at how many marketing qualified leads have come from the traditional medium, from the digital medium. How has the marketing team helped the sales team grow the existing accounts? What percentage have they grown by selling existing solutions, or cross-selling or upselling new solutions or products or services? How have they been able to run the marketing campaigns at an optimal marketing mix? In sum, for somebody to contribute 10% to the sales funnel, 10% to the sales funnel, they should have 4 times that of the funnel. I am not going to be achieving 10% sales funnel if I have only plan and visibility only for 5%. I'm not going to do that. So you need to have 4 times. Then only after leakage, customer saying no, or I don't like you, whatever the customer's objections might be, finally we will be left with a manageable funnel which will impact our business goals. The next one is reporting and operations. We will dwell more on the demand generation part in the subsequent slides. Reporting and operations. What is the KRA for them? Provide insights to the teams and enable them to take right decisions, the right decision. Now, the right decision for you and right decision for the company, right decision for some other team, it varies. So you need to define in terms of what is the definition of right decision. It's a very subjective stuff. As long as you are able to codify it, it's good. KPI. Is the reporting team able to control the budgets? Do they know what is the cost of acquisition of a customer or a contact or a lead? What is the campaign performance analysis? Where they have done well, where they have not done well. Is LinkedIn very effective? Is YouTube very effective? Is Instagram very effective? Now, what is the definition of effectiveness? Then how is the marketing funnel looking like? How is the sales funnel looking like? How sales funnel is influenced by the marketing funnel? How much of the leads from MQL is getting approved by the sales team, accepted by the sales team, and how are they able to go into that? How are they able to manage the partners, the ecosystem, stakeholders, payment, billing, all the operational aspects of it, your tools, your CRM functions, everything can come into reporting, analytics, and operations team. The next one is media relationship or relations or influencer thing. What is the KRA for them? Please do not distance your brand as a CEO, as a founder from your company's brand, because your personal growth, personal brand's growth is directly proportional and has got a very direct bearing on your company's brand growth as well. And you will have now the KRA part comes into picture. How has been the top of the mind awareness for my brand? Then if person A is the media executive in your company, the question that the person has to answer is that how has my brand grown in terms of awareness? Is it in the top three awareness? Is it in the top one? Is it number one? How has it? So that's the whole idea. They, of course, they also need to be responsible for the online reputation along with the digital and the social media team. Subsequently, the KPI, how do you define the KPI? Fine, this is very loosely defined, top of the mind awareness, but what should I do? What are the 15 things I need to do so that my top of the mind awareness is out there? You need to have how many number of stories have been generated. When I say stories, when you open a newspaper, there are articles about your industry. In those industries, are you there? Is there a quote about your company, from your company? Is there a mention of your company name? Could be anything. Number of quotes given by the spokesperson. Is it have they carried it online? Have they carried it offline? How many contributory articles are there? Contributory articles are something like where you write long form articles which are carried in the editorial section. And I'm not talking about advertorial here. Advertorial is something paid. Contributory articles is something where you are invited to write. How is the competition doing in terms of media space? What are some of the new things that they are actually doing? How many journalists or influencers you have met, and how the relationship is with them? All those things have to be monitored. Then when everything is done together, then they meet the key responsibility area, which is like how the top of the mind awareness for my brand is growing, which in turn is linked to how the overall company goals are likely to be met. Now, there is a loose connection between top of the mind awareness, in this case, top of the mind awareness and the demand generation. We will come to that, but it's essential. Next is field marketing. Field marketing is whatever you do as a demand generation team, field marketing team, demand generation team, they can be clubbed together. In some cases, field marketing team will be the superset of demand generation team, but it depends on how your organization is structured. So KRA is focus on the field activation of whatever campaigns that have been those have been thought through, and how can you take it to your target audience. Let's say you have thought of a concept in, say, Delhi, and you want to take it to Tamil Nadu. How do you translate? How do you translate the campaign objectives, the campaign language, the value proposition suitable to the South audience or any particular geographical audience? How do you run events for them? How do you actually get your local visibility? How do you generate the local visibility for the folks, whether it is online medium or offline medium or omni channel? Now there will be a question. You are saying it's field marketing, but you are talking about digital also. In some cases, you will run a digital campaign and then you will say, please go to our, say, Chennai office, or please go to our Coimbatore office or Bangalore office, something like that. So your field marketing team should be out there to ready to receive your target audience prospects based on the campaigns that you have triggered digitally or from anywhere else. So this is what you need to measure as a KPI, which is number of events executed. What is the outcome? What are the field activation programs done? How many number of meetings have been set for the sales team or for the business owner or anybody? How many interactions have happened with the prospects? Do they have the right kind of database? And of course, the database goes back into the reporting and operations team as well. If you do not have the right quality database, that's later going to come and bite the sales team as well as the marketing team. So how fresh is the marketing team? So those have to be done. Can they be used to field surveys and then give you feedback? Now this is also linked, saying that I have done 5 events. You should be asking a question. Okay, you have done 5 events. What happened to the leads, and have they been fed into the CRM? How is the sales team following up? What is the business impact? So it's a cycle. Whatever you do, you go back and then align it to your business goals. Last but not the least, and this is in fact, it should be like a foundational pillar of it, the digital and content marketing team. Your target audience should know your brand and how you are adding value to them. Value proposition, as in one of the one of the participants had mentioned about value proposition, you have to take each and every syllable of your value proposition and amplify it and make it useful for the target audience and how it is going to be making their life better in their daily life. Now, the KPI here is, if it's a very vast domain, because you will create one mother content and that will get repurposed into YouTube, onto YouTube, Insta or Facebook or any Twitter or any of those social media platforms. On your website, blogs, there will be a landing page. The thing is, you have a common content out there which gets repurposed on multiple social platforms, and that should engage with the target audience, and it should fall back and it should all drive back onto your website. That's extremely important. So it should result in customer engagement and how you have actually got the leads out of that. How somebody can create 100 reasons to call to the target audience. I gave this example of a leading financial services company who keeps calling saying that, do you need loan? Do you need loan? Now they have only one reason, which is to give me a loan. But if they find 100 other reasons to call me, in fact, at some point of time, I might actually enjoy their calls if they are actually adding value to my life. So can your content and digital team find 100 reasons, 100 reasons to actually reach out to people? And of course, they have to ensure that all the content that they actually generate is useful for lead nurturing and funnel movement. So now, if we do a deep dive onto demand generation, the same goals remain the same. Remember, the top 2 goals that we had for the corporate was like, they need to have so many customers, they need to have so much of revenue target. So that means that they need to, the KRA was basically to contribute 10% of the sales funnel and 5% of direct billing. If they have to do it, they need to have 4 times the funnel to meet the business goals. To cross-sell, they need to do account-based marketing. Let's say you have a huge corporate or a huge customer who keeps buying from you. Now, how do you cross-sell or upsell? How do you enable the sales team to find those 100 reasons to cross-sell or 100 reasons to interact with the customer, and in the process, they are able to sell something? How MQLs can translate into SQLs, at least 70% of that. I'm using the word at least, but honestly speaking, that itself is a big goal when you are actually starting the journey. Every month, the target audience have to be reached out to. There is no question. There are no two things about it. Either it has to be a webinar or a field activation program or an event or a conference, or some form of a marketing channel has to be used to be in front of your customer. They need, and that's the reason why we are talking about 100 reasons to reach out to your target audience. And the same thing can be used in terms of how actually you can nurture the lead along with the content and digital team, and how you can actually look at the funnel movement where the suspect comes onto your website or to your marketing channels, and how the suspect moves from suspect prospect to that of a customer. Freshness of database. The responsibility of a database might be with the operations team, or it might be with the field marketing team, or with the demand generation team, or with the sales team, whoever it is. If it is fresh, it's good. It's going to be useful to everybody. If it is not fresh, your email campaigns and everything else will go for a toss. Your calling will have a problem. So that again is a KPI. The social media content, if we do a deep dive, um, one key question which I want to keep asking you, which I want to ask you is that, let's say that a company has got 1 million followers, and suddenly the company is banned from the platform. What happens to those followers? So that is something that we need to have. We need to know our customers. Everybody will come and congratulate you. Hey, you got 1 million followers. Awesome, great. Do you own those followers? No, the platform owns. So let that sink in. When the platform is owning your followers, if they decide to ban somebody, then that 1 million followers go away. So one way to retain or knowing your customer is to move them back onto your website and ensure that they sign up for a newsletter. So you have their email address, and then then you start looking at how they are interacting with your content. That's the way. Please do not overjoyous about, oh my God, my Insta Reels has got 300,000 likes. Yeah, the likes is a blessing from that platform. They have taken money, they have blessed you with the 300,000 likes, but they can take it away any moment. Now, all these social media engagements should translate into traffic to your landing page or to your website or to whichever destination that you're doing, so that you can convert that into leads and then move forward. How is your content and engagement? Please do not fall for likes. Please look at engagements. When you have a content and people are interacting with that content, they are actually typing in comments. It's a good thing. They are engaging with your content and they are using it. How much of time they are spending? If you look at the Google Analytics page or anything like that, you will know on your website how a particular blog functions and how some other video performs well. So please do that. Newsletter growth. As I told you, when the followers vanish because someone has banned a company on a social media platform, newsletter which is on your platform is a savior. So you need to consciously move the customers to sign up for your newsletter. So any content that you actually generate should be used in your newsletter. How is your website performing? When your website is slow or is not mobile friendly or is not working with your mobile apps, then it has got its own issues. So how do you monitor all your website performances? Now I can go on and list another 10-15 items under website performance, but this is just a short look into how the website performs. Next is your SEO performance. SEO performance and SEO checklist will have 15 parameters in that. So it is very important for you to have the SEO parameters managed through a tool like SEMrush or Uber Suggest or anything like that. Fix the technical issues, look for the keywords, look for where the traffic is coming from. Then it moves on. And the fundamental thing is you're doing all the social media content, all of it to generate leads, brand awareness. Those contacts and followers should become leads and then they should convert. How is your paid campaign performing? Sometimes your text ads will do really well than your display ads. So do you know which one is doing really well? You will have the keyword volume worth about uh, say 100,000 or 200,000 is the volume, but you have a budget which will last only for 2 days. So in a month, somebody is searching for your brand for 200,000 times, but you are going to be visible only for 2 days because your budget is over. How do you extend this by another 30 days? So now you know what is the keyword volume and you have an appropriate budget, and that will translate into leads. But the catch is this: when from the ad, from the display ad, from the text ad, it should come on to your landing page. It should not go to some other subsidiary or some other country's website, but it should go to your specific campaign website or landing page so that the leads can be captured and routed to your sales team. But before that, marketing team has to qualify that. So that comes the marketing qualified lead, and subsequently it goes on. So that's extremely important. Now, what to measure for what to measure for KPI, digital marketing? Today you will have Insta, tomorrow it will be changed into some other name. Earlier it was Facebook, now it's called Meta. Something else will come up. You will have Twitter's competitor will be coming into picture. So there is no end to it. TikTok did not exist in 2007, but suddenly it became a rage, and in India it completely went off. So now something will be there, something might not be there. So don't fall in love with the platform. Those are all tools which are available to you to take you to your destination, which is your business goal. Your destination is your business goal. Can I leverage YouTube to generate leads and awareness for my brand? Can I use Twitter to generate my brand awareness and leads and followers for my brand? Can I use my mobile apps so that any traffic that comes into picture, people will start interacting onto my mobile apps? Instead of website, they can go to your mobile app also. Anything you do, you should translate on to website and traffic. So if somebody is going to come a question, I'm a YouTube specialist and I do not know how to actually design a KPI for Insta or Twitter, please go by the basics. Whatever is the analytics of that particular platform, which mentions likes, engagements, user growth, whatever, please list it down and then ask the question, if there is a growth in this, how is this growth aligned to your business goals? Please do ask that question, because there is no end to it. Today somebody will come and ask a question for YouTube, tomorrow somebody will ask. So you need to generalize some of the aspects so that the performance gets measured. Now comes the media relations. The reason why I keep insisting about people should build their own personal brand, the founders, how they can actually build their brand for the company to themselves, is we are just a click away from buying your product. So with more awareness, there is a very high chance that there is a positive disposition towards your brand, and we can actually buy it. We can, as I asked a question saying that somebody is going to say Rolls Royce or BMW or something like that to buy a luxury brand that they actually like. So if it is top of their mind, if it is on top of their mind, then they can do it. What better way to do it than media? You can influence a larger crowd out there. Now, what is a KRA for that? They need to be on top of, increase the top of the mind awareness for the brand, for the key executives. And how do you do that? What are the KPIs involved? First question is share of voice. Share of voice is nothing but, if there are in your industry, let's say there are some 10 players and the top 5 players, they are very active in the media, and you are also active in the media. So now if there are 100 stories out there, in percentage wise, how many stories you have been part of? If you have been part of 50% or 60% of the stories, then that's awesome. Your share of voice is 60%. Quality of exposure is number of contributory articles a person has written and it has been published by the blogs. If you write and if it gets published on the blog, that is not considered a contributory article. You have to write and it has to be published by leading publications, vernacular or English language papers. If the founder or the key executives are not comfortable speaking in English or in Hindi or any of the languages, they need to start with something which they are comfortable. In this case, let's say that we speak in Tamil, so we have to be comfortable speaking to Tamil vernacular language, and we will be able to articulate better. And then we graduate to something, to an unknown language. Here I have mentioned it as English, it could be German, it could be Mandarin, it could be anybody, but based on how your target audience are going to read. So how do you maintain an optimal ratio? Number of speaker engagements the person has got to promote the brand. Either it could be by invitation or by sponsorship. Number of journalists and influencers you have met and you have known personally. I know a lot of leaders who have leveraged this media connect really well. They just take the phone out and then they click. They are able to speak to the key journalists of key publications, top publications. Very casual, but it did not happen on day one. They had to work on it for many years, and subsequently they were able to do it. So and how the growth of the relationship has been. The result of all this case study, the result of all these activities have been saying that this particular company, the building materials company, they were able to see an ROI of 4 times from their digital spends. The overall, sorry, 9 times from their overall spends. From the overall marketing spend, they have been able to generate 4 times the value. So if you have invested 1 rupee on your digital platform, they were able to get 9 times the revenue. If you have invested 2 rupees as the overall marketing budget, they were able to get 8 times value out of the marketing budget. How has the cost of acquisition of the customer also had come down? Of course, over a period of time, it will fluctuate, but you need to figure out what is the band of that. They sustained their, in the visibility standpoint, they were able to sustain the top of the mind awareness. So and they were able to actually get a lot of they were a lot of business out of it, because they were able to maintain and sustain the top of the mind awareness through their traditional medium as well as through the digital medium. And hats off to the team, because over the last, say, several years, they invested a lot of money in the traditional medium, and that's what they had given the pedestal. The digital medium spends amplified that particular angle to it. So if you remember, there was a question saying that they should be investing in digital or traditional. The digital spends complemented the traditional spends. So that's important. The digital and content, all the social and digital platforms were aligned to the website. The lead flow was fixed. So anybody who is coming and inquiring about the product or the service, they were actually led to the website. And from there, it went on to marketing team, qualified, and then it went on to the SQL. So the sales and marketing alignment got better. In fact, the internal satisfaction score between marketing, and so if marketing is offering a service to their internal customer like a sales team, how has been the satisfaction score? It has been very high. So the conclusion is, this particular team was the first team globally in their organization to execute an ROI driven marketing campaign, and these were the main KPIs they had actually used broadly. Of course, you can deep dive and then add more points to it. And finally, the CEOs and everybody looked at this dashboard every day, looking at, okay, whatever activities we are actually doing, is it aligned to the business goals? So that's the case. And with that, I would like to end this session. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ping me or write to me. I will be more than happy to answer it. See you. Take care. Bye.